Picture this. It's past midnight. You're in the bathroom, door locked, scrolling your phone so nobody sees your face. Some two-year-old just posted a Lamborghini he bought flipping Dogecoin. And you're sitting there thinking, am I the only one being left behind? That feeling? That's not instinct. That's bait. And tonight, I'm going to show you exactly how the trap is set. Let me introduce you to someone. We'll call him Dev. Dev is 30 years old, IT support, decent salary, newly married, renting a 2-bedroom apartment, regular guy, responsible guy, the kind of person who actually reads the fine print. In late 2021, Dev took $8,000, money that was quietly growing in a savings account meant for a future home, and moved it into crypto. Not because he was reckless, because everywhere he looked, people were getting rich, and the math seemed to be working for everyone except him. 14 months later, that $8,000 was worth $1,900. He sold, not because he wanted to, because the anxiety of checking his portfolio every 45 minutes had become unbearable. He was having stress headaches. His sleep was gone. He was distracted at his kid's birthday party, eyes on his phone, watching numbers collapse. Dev's story isn't a personal failure. It's a pattern, a statistically predictable one. Here's something the industry will never print on a billboard. A study by the Bank for International Settlements, one of the most rigorous financial institutions on the planet, analyzed crypto trading data across 95 countries. Their finding? Between 73% and 81% of retail crypto investors lose money. The average loss? Around 48% of what was invested. Put in $5,000. Walk away with roughly $2,600. That's not a rough patch. That's a consistent, measurable transfer of money from the people who buy in excitement to the people who were already positioned before the excitement started. And here's who's doing the buying. The largest group of crypto investors, nearly 30% of all users, are households earning between $50,000 and $100,000 per year. Teachers, nurses, logistics coordinators, people like Dev. Meanwhile, households earning over $100,000, who make up just 22% of users, control nearly 40% of all holdings. You were told crypto would level the playing field. What it actually did was give regular people a faster way to hand money upward and feel excited about it. Let's talk about how the machine gets you in the door. In early 2022, multiple crypto companies bought Super Bowl ads. Tens of millions of dollars spent in a single night to reach 100 million people. One campaign featured a globally recognized celebrity comparing buying crypto to the bravery of explorers and mountain climbers. Fortune favors the brave. Dev saw that ad. He texted his wife immediately. Maybe this is our moment. 3 days later, he moved more money in without mentioning it. Here's what that ad didn't say. If you'd bought Bitcoin the day it aired, you would have lost roughly 65% of your money within a year. Fortune favored the people who sold to you. One of those crypto companies collapsed months later in one of the largest financial frauds in recent memory, billions in customer funds. Gone. The celebrity endorsers kept their fees. The customers kept their losses. This is not a coincidence. This is a business model. Beyond the Super Bowl, the real engine is content. Creators with millions of followers have charged companies $40,000 per promotional video, more than many people earn in a year, to tell their audience that a specific coin is the next big thing. Some of those coins were later charged with fraud. Some collapsed within weeks of the videos going live. The creators got paid either way. A-list celebrities have been fined by financial regulators for promoting tokens without disclosing they were paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do so. For someone worth hundreds of millions, that fine is roughly equivalent to you or me getting a $30 parking ticket. 8 influencers were formally charged for running coordinated pump and dump schemes, buying a coin, promoting it loudly to followers. then selling at the peak while the audience bought in and held the crash. Total illegal profits, $114 million. Follower losses, significant and largely unrecoverable. 4. The people telling you to buy are not investors sharing alpha. They're paid advertisers, operating in a space with minimal disclosure requirements and shrinking enforcement. Here's the part nobody wants to admit, including people who've already lost money. Academic research on investor behavior shows that FOMO, fear of missing out, can override rational decision-making, even in people who have already experienced losses. It's not stupidity. It's how the brain responds to social pressure and perceived scarcity. When your colleague won't stop talking about his 18x gains. When someone in your family group chat posts a screenshot of a green portfolio. When every third video on your feed shows someone in their 20s claiming financial independence from a laptop on a beach, the emotional pressure becomes almost physical. You're not reacting to an investment opportunity. You're reacting to the feeling of being excluded from something everyone else seems to understand. And here's the timing piece that makes this even more ruthless. Research found that 75% of new crypto app downloads happened only after Bitcoin had already passed $20,000, meaning after the story had already been on mainstream financial news for weeks. By the time most people feel confident enough to buy in, the earliest holders are already looking for somewhere to sell. Dev bought most of his position when Bitcoin was near its all-time high. He was entering a trade that institutional investors were exiting. He was, in the language of traders, the exit liquidity, the person whose buy order lets the early holder cash out. Even if the market moved in your favor, there's another leak in the bucket. Popular retail crypto platforms charge transaction fees between 3% and 7.5% per trade. If you're actively buying dips, swapping between coins, and reacting to price moves, which is exactly what the content ecosystem encourages you, could easily make 10 to 15 round trips a year. On a $5,000 portfolio, that's potentially $300 to $1,500 evaporating annually in fees alone, before the market moves a single dollar, before taxes. Compare that to a basic index fund, where annual fees can be as low as $1.50 on a $5,000 investment. Not a typo, $1.50. Dev also didn't know about taxes until it was too late. In many countries, every crypto-to-crypto trade is a taxable event. His trading activity generated a tax bill of nearly $850 on money he no longer had, that he ended up putting on a payment plan with monthly interest. The system extracts value at every layer: market volatility, platform fees, tax obligations. And if you're in emotional trading mode, which most retail investors are, every one of those layers hits harder. Let's run the numbers that don't make headlines. If you invest $5,000 per year into a basic S&P 500 index fund, no trading, no timing, no drama, at a historical average return of around 10% annually, after 10 years, approximately $87,000. After 20 years, approximately $318,000. That's not a best-case scenario. That's just what consistent, boring investing has historically produced: a paid-off car, a home down payment, a retirement that doesn't require working until you physically can't. For the average crypto retail investor, who loses 48% of their capital, the 1-0-year opportunity cost of choosing crypto over an index fund exceeds $60,000. That's not just the money lost. That's the compounding that money would have done if it had gone somewhere quiet and consistent instead. Dev's $8,000 invested in a simple index fund in November 2021 instead of crypto would be worth approximately $11,400 today. Instead, he recovered $1,900 and carries the rest as financial scar tissue. In May 2022, one major algorithmic stablecoin system collapsed, erasing an estimated $40.55 billion in value in a matter of days. The founder had reportedly withdrawn tens of millions monthly in the period leading up to the implosion. He later received a lengthy prison sentence. The retail investors who lost everything did not. This collapse triggered a chain reaction. A major crypto lending platform filed for bankruptcy with billions in liabilities. A prominent hedge fund imploded. A major exchange revealed that billions in customer funds had been mixed with company trading operations. Its founder received a decades-long prison sentence. Combined retail losses from that cycle, over $60 billion. The people who lost that money weren't naive. They were regular investors who believed they were using safe, regulated products to earn returns in an emerging asset class. What they didn't know was that in some cases, they were the yield their deposits funding speculation by insiders who had already made exit plans. Here's something worth noting. The same financial institutions now offering Bitcoin ETFs to retail investors, their internal guidance for clients is remarkably cautious. Major wealth management firms recommend maximum 1 to 4% allocation to crypto, and that's for aggressive portfolios. Conservative portfolios, 0. The advisors who do recommend crypto almost universally keep it under 5% of total holdings. They're not going all in on meme coins. They're taking a small, regulated position through low-fee ETFs inside a portfolio already anchored by diversified index funds, bonds, and real assets. They don't check prices daily. They don't trade on YouTube tips. The difference between a 2% Bitcoin ETF position inside a diversified portfolio and putting a significant portion of your savings into speculative tokens is the difference between measured exposure and gambling with rent money. Same asset, completely different approach. And over a decade, that difference is worth tens of thousands of dollars. One more thing that rarely makes it into the content. The crypto industry spent an estimated $133 million on political lobbying in a single recent election cycle, representing nearly half of all corporate political donations that cycle. The result was a measurable shift in regulatory enforcement. Investigations were dropped, fines dropped from billions to hundreds of millions, oversight pulled back. This happened at the same time scam losses were accelerating. Reported crypto fraud losses hit approximately $9.14 billion in recent years. The largest single exchange hack in history occurred in early 2025, $1.5 billion stolen. Regulations are loosening precisely as the threat to retail investors grows. The people who need protection most are getting less of it because the industry has made protection politically expensive. If you're watching this and you feel that pull, that low-grade anxiety that everyone else is building something and you're standing still, I want you to hear this clearly. That feeling is the product. You are the target. The marketing machine has spent hundreds of millions of dollars engineering exactly that emotion in exactly your demographic, because statistically, it works. It gets people to move money quickly, emotionally, and without adequate information. You have permission to step back from that. You have permission to be the person who invests quietly, consistently, and without a compelling story to tell at dinner. Index funds don't make for good content. They don't go viral. Nobody posts screenshots of a 10% annual return with a fire emoji. But over 20 years, they build the kind of wealth that actually changes your family's trajectory. Dev is doing better now. He came clean to his wife, a conversation that nearly ended their marriage. They went to counseling. He maxed out his retirement account for the first time last year. He has a small index fund position that's quietly growing. He looks at it once a month maybe. When crypto comes up at social events, he gets another drink. Some education is expensive. His cost him $6,153 and a year of rebuilding trust. But he's building now, quietly, consistently, without checking his phone at 2 a.m. The most important number in your financial life isn't the price of Bitcoin. It's $318,000. That's what $5,000 per year invested consistently for 2 decades in the most boring fund available has historically become. No gas fees, no private keys, no influencer tips, no 3 a.m. anxiety spirals. Just patience, consistency, the willingness to be unglamorous. The people profiting most from crypto are not the people buying it. They're the exchanges collecting fees on every panicked trade, the influencers collecting brand deals regardless of what happens to your portfolio, the early holders selling into the excitement you feel right now. You are not a player in this game. In its current form, for most people, you are the game. The smart move, the genuinely brave move, is to understand that. Put your money somewhere that compounds quietly over time and let everyone else chase the highlight reel. Boring wins. Slowly, consistently, actually. If this gave you something real to think about, share it with someone who needs to hear it before they make an expensive mistake. And if you want more content about building actual wealth without the hype, you know where to find me.